So I came up with this invention for the NASA or whoever it is, I believe it's NASA, $3 million get rid of the fecal matter of astronauts from moon missions idea. And this is very simple. I went with the method that I learned in the military, keep it simple, stupid, and it's as simple as I could come up with it. Basically, there's this large frame, but it's where you would walk behind, kind of like a push mower. There's a screen here for the electric monitoring of the battery, which sits right there. It's like an e-bike battery. And it doesn't drive itself with the electric, although it could. It's possible that it could drive the wheels with an electric motor that goes slow like a push mower, but I have multiple designs that I've drawn into this basically. So the way it works is there's a screen, you have handlebars like a bicycle, and there's these big squishy airless tires that are similar to like Rover tires, but these are ultra lightweight carbon fiber. They could be made out of actually aluminum because it's just a little push piece, but for stability, they would be made out of carbon fiber. It'd be a high-tech device that can easily go up on spaceships. There's room here for an air tank or air tanks for fuel and oxygen, so that way even on the moon, you can still create the incinerator. And this piece only rotates. The whole piece with the four grab claws where these lines that are curved are the auger lines, and this top section spins slowly with high torque. So an electric motor spins all four of these, and these four clamps can easily do grasping. So how it works is it bores itself down after grabbing the bag. The bag would go here. The person walks up with the handlebars, leans it over the bag, and that way there's as little motion as possible to this easy to make lightweight frame. Then they use up here, there's switches on the screen and on the handlebars. So they would be able to put this over the bag, leaning it down. Then they grab and it pinches just under the bag. So there's one button that moves all four of these slowly, pinches under the bag. And these seal to each other as best as possible. So it's just four clamp arms that come together as close as possible to make a sealed environment like an oven. Then, once it has the bag grasped, or bags, it would have it grasped, and then another switch, you would simply hit it, even in a spacesuit, easy to use, and it starts to turn. And these curved lines are the auger lines, so these little edges that are like a little blade. And it augers itself down into the dust. And it creates a pit oven, like a classical Hawaiian oven in the dirt in the sand or the dirt for cooking a whole hog. These would be able to turn, and it creates this grasped, closed environmental oven. Then another switch, which is piezoelectric, like a grill, like where it's a manual piezoelectric, and also an electric starter. So it's like an electric starter on a four-wheeler, for example. And it's able to then turn on with this flow of air, fuel. And this tank or tanks right here next to each other, which is easy to move and easy to replace. They simply slide down and clamp in. They feed the fuel into this, which now as you walk it, it leans like this, but when you put it down, it leans forwards. So that while it's augering, you have leverage here built into the frame naturally, and it leans forwards. It's simple tube framing, even in carbon fiber, can weigh very little. So then it tips forwards, and then it screws in. And once it's in the ground, as much as it can go, leaning forward, so this whole piece just slides over the bag, clamps down underneath it, sealing it into this oven-like space, augers itself into the dirt, and that seals it even more. Then the fuel goes in, and it starts off as a heated oven. It gets very hot, and it incinerates like cremation, everything inside. And then you hit the button to extract it. And as it's unscrewing itself from the dirt and starting to tip itself back up, the person holding the handlebars just simply in the spacesuit can leverage it back down to help lift it out, and it opens slowly as it's being removed, and all the incinerated particles then fall into a pocket on the moon. So it's possible that these then just become very sanitary clusters of material just under the moon's soil, and it creates that little hole after it augers in and out. And then it's simple that if you want to use the cremated material even in a garden on the moon, it's possible to do that with this system. So it's as simple as possible. It's a piezoelectric and electric starter. The igniter would be right here. This whole piece doesn't move besides its rotation like this, and the crab claws like this. So this pinches in and out, and this whole piece with all of it spins with all four of the arms. There's an igniter right here that goes down into the top and can spin freely. So that way this one, it sits here as the igniter into the top, the whole top with the crab claws can still pivot. Then this is the simple hosing system that just comes down. It's very strong. It's that like rubber and metal hosing. And it goes on to what is like a propane tank for a grill, or two. One can be solid state oxygen, just pure oxygen. And even though it's a little dangerous, it's possible to make it oxygen and fuel. So it can be one tank with a special formula, or it could have oxygen in one tank and the other gases in the other tank. And that allows for, if anything goes wrong on the astronaut suit, this oxygen tank can actually be a backup for oxygen to the worker. So this is a very simple, low-cost idea. It has that kind of kayak cart shape to it, but it's simple that this entire arm piece doesn't swing. It only rotates and grasps, and that allows for the auger action and allows for it to seal itself in like an oven. And these arms, like I said, just come together in and out, and it's not about picking anything up. It just has to close with enough torque to keep itself shut, and then it augers. These are airless tires that should last a lifetime on the moon. And like I said, this whole thing would be leaned down, and as the astronaut walks across the surface, it can be like a push mower. And so it could technically wheel itself forward, so there could be two small electric motors here. There's simple hand grips like a handlebar, and the entire system is a tube frame, very easy access and to fix it. So this is my idea, NASA, and I would love to help bring it to life. Hopefully I get to win that competition, and I would love to be in a laboratory building this, because it would even work on Earth and on Mars, and technically if you had it on the outside of a spaceship, it could still function because it provides its own oven materials in the terms of fuel. So it's possible to use this in basically every environment in space, as long as the actual structure and everything can withstand the atmospheres and the temperature. So the astronaut simply would stand here and walk forwards and backwards. There could be a simple handlebar with a roll kind of grip. One rolls forwards to go forwards and rolls back to go back. And there, the other grip is just stationary and could have even just a park brake on it for when it's going to auger, so it stays in place. And I believe this is the winning idea for NASA. This can get rid of those moon feces problems now and even into the future. So here's my idea. And